Hello and welcome to the Inside Scoop. I'm Pat Riley, and we are focusing on our upcoming annual town election with our candidates for the contested seats. We have 3 candidates seeking the open seat on the Raynham Select Board. With us right now is Linda Brackett. Linda, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, this is the first time you have done something like this.
It is. I've never run for office ever. I'm not really great at public speaking, but I'm learning. I think it's just the passion that makes me, be able to sit here and talk to you. But yeah, I've never done anything like this before.
It's a whole new experience.
Whole new experience and a whole lot of opinions from a whole lot of people.
Well, in case there is anyone out there that
Yeah.
doesn't know you, because you've been involved for a while, what would you like them to know about Linda Brackett?
Well, I moved here in 1988. As an adult, we bought our house here, and I wasn't sure I wanted to stay here. It was like, okay, it seems like a nice town, but I don't know if this is where I want to stay. I don't think it took 6 months, and I told my husband, we're never moving.
You fell in love with
I
Raynham.
did. I fell in love with Raynham. When I moved here, I want to say the population was 4,000, but I think it was a little bit more than that from my research, but I can't come up with a real number. And now the last thing I saw the other day was 15,200.
Yes.
The town has changed. You just can't, I don't know, try to go through the 4 corners at 4 o'clock. It's awful. It's not the quiet little town. It's great. There's a lot of great things about it, but the growth and the development's just been a lot. So after I moved here, I just started. I work in mortgage finance, so I help other people buy their houses. I help people who have financial difficulties figure out how to fix them. People, buy, sell, whatever. So as far as that goes, I've got a real good feeling of how difficult it is to buy a house and to qualify for it and to pay for it. And it's a hard thing right now. Today I couldn't buy my house in Raynham that I bought in 1988. And it's too
It is
bad.
difficult to buy, and as you said, difficult to maintain, whether you're a young family just starting out or a senior citizen on a limited income.
Yeah, that's the thing with the senior citizens and the taxes and everything else. They all want the best for the town, but there's only so much they can do. I was really surprised at what the average Social Security check was, and it's not good.
When did you first get involved in Raynham, in the town, other than as a resident?
I always did things. I always volunteered here and there, and made stuff for like the rave bake sale, and went to the parades and stood outside and waved at Santa at Christmas time. But really getting involved, probably about 20 years ago, I started really getting involved in animal rescue and the needs of the town and the animals in town, and the feral cat population, everything we did there to help that. I got involved in that, and that kind of turned into getting involved in animal control. And involved in animal control, then you really got to see the community and the people's needs. I got to really work well with the police department and the fire department. Like we talked about the other night, one of my favorite stories is we had, and I said it was a raccoon. It wasn't a raccoon. It was a groundhog, and he had his head stuck in a grate, like a water grate, and all you could see was the top of his neck. So I got a call, and then I called fire. I'm like, I need help moving this grate. So Jeff Kelleher and I got down on the ground, and we got out some olive oil spray, and we got the poor little thing out of there. But only in this town, they're going to come and help you. They're right there. If it was an animal issue, police was right there. One night a dog got hit by a car. Teddy Fallow was right there. He grabbed that dog, and there was no owner around, and he raced that dog to Westbridge. It's just the caring of the people in this town to me, is different than other places. I know, my sister and niece live in Attleboro, and they don't have the sense of community like we do.
That's something that even though the town has grown, we've been able to maintain that to a large extent, and hopefully that's something we can continue.
Yeah.
Now, what about Noah? Tell us about Noah. Was
Okay.
that before you got involved with animal control, or?
Yes, the Mascot Orphaned Animal Haven was founded, I believe, in 1993. I wasn't involved in animal rescue at that point very much. I dipped a little bit in with the Taunton Animal Shelter. They used to have cats at the Pet Supplies Plus store in Raynham, and I'd go in, and the lady in there every Saturday just to look. And the lady says, "Why don't you volunteer?" So I started volunteering with them. Then there was this group formed, and it was a bunch of well-meaning people. Nobody had any adoption experience. We had somebody that was a grant writer. We had somebody that could do social media. We had somebody else that was a treasurer. But we didn't have anybody with the actual experience. So I got involved with that, and it evolved into a lot. We ended up with the with the PetSmart store in Plymouth, where we did adoption 7 days a week. I managed about 80 volunteers at different times, whether it's people in there cleaning, doing adoptions, fostering, taking animals to the vet, doing medical paperwork, screening applicants. So I got really involved in that, and probably about 8 or 9 years ago, the state decided that you could no longer keep animals in a pet store. So it really, really, we couldn't do anything. I mean, you can't do adoptions at your house. I mean, you can't have all kinds of people come into the house and like that. I mean, it's not fair to the neighbors. It's not, we don't, it's just not the way to do it. So that made it very difficult. So.
And then at some point you became animal control officer for the town.
Yes.
Tell us about that experience. You told us a little bit.
Yeah, so how that started is way back when there was a full-time, well, he wasn't a full-time, he was a part-time animal control officer. He had his own business, and it was very difficult. And I knew him well, and we started talking. He was like, "Hey, do you want to be my assistant?" And I'm like, "Oh, I guess." I've never done this before, but it's kind of a natural progression, and it really showed my passion of what I wanted to do. And then it grew. When I first started as animal control, I had an incredible salary of $15 a week. So,
wow.
Yeah, that was life changing. And then it grew, and I mean, the salary was never good, but it was never about that. It was about helping the animals. And right now, the animals need help. I mean, you see people on Facebook reaching out saying, "What do I do about this? What do I do about that?" There's nobody in town right now that's doing anything with the animals. We had two swans that really were in trouble, and a group of volunteers. We got the swans to safety, and they were fine. A few weeks later, we had then the next day there was a goose with fishing line wrapped around its foot. I caught it by myself with a towel. I'm saying, I hope these people didn't have Ring cameras, because it wasn't pretty. But, me running after this goose. But I got it, and we got it to the Cape Wildlife Center, and he had an infection, and they fixed his foot, and then he was released. Then there was a hawk that couldn't fly, and it was on Facebook, and I know there's other residents in town that are really passionate about wildlife. And we both saw it, and we went out looking at the hawk, and the guy was beside himself. And I'm like, "Well, did you call? Did you call animal control?" No, I called the town, and they said they can't do anything to help me. Now, this poor man didn't know where to turn, so he turned to Facebook. We need to be able to have, something set up in town where animal control or somebody is going to respond to these issues. We always, everybody in my past has, but now it's not happening. Since I left I think it was about 3 years ago.
Does the state have any resources that can help us in that way?
That's a really good question. Not really, because there are a few things. I mean, they'll tell you if you call them, if you can get them, but most of the time you can't, and when you need them, it's an emergency. The environmental police won't do anything. in all my years in animal control, I had one interaction with the environmental police where they would help me. Other than that, they wouldn't, and that was because somebody took some baby owlets out of a tree and put them on the ground. But other than that, no. I mean, there's wildlife centers and things, but there's nothing close. I mean, it's all the way down the Cape or in Weymouth. They have very limited hours, and it's almost like we have to come up with some type of a plan to be able to just have something out there so people have, a guidebook on what to do. You can call this for this or this for that. I mean, right now the big thing is going to be baby squirrels getting cut out of trees and falling on the ground. So you got to find somebody that takes care of those. There is a list of wildlife rehabbers online, but again, most of them aren't available just to pick up the phone and call you. I think somebody in town needs to be able to just, pick up the phone, talk to these people. Even if they physically can't help, at least try to point them in the right direction.
Sure. Decision to run for a select board, was that a difficult decision?
It was a very, very difficult decision. It was something I had thought about for a while. A bunch of people called me, and I went back and forth, and it's like, I've always been passionate. I've always wanted to volunteer. It's just something that I think, it was something that was, okay, this is the next step. There's a lot of issues in town. There's a lot of things that we can work on and we can make better. Again, there's a lot of great things, but it just took, it took a while. It took people pushing me. And actually the last push was when nobody was going to help those swans, and they were going to sit on the side of the road and die. And that's when that was my thing. That was my final push that made me say, okay, I'm going to see if I can make this situation a little bit better. And the only way I know how to do that is to have a voice.
Okay. What else would you like the voters, the residents, the citizens to know about running for select board?
Well, I think the biggest thing is I'm not going to fix everything. I can't fix everything. I mean, pick a subject. I mean, pick the schools. I mean, you've tried for how many years to do things? We've got a board member that's leaving that's tried. I think it's a collaborative thing. I think it's something that everybody needs to work together. No one person's going to fix any one problem. And I think knowing that and knowing that I can work collaboratively with people and get everybody hopefully on the same page. And even if, my opinion isn't the popular one, okay, you're going to listen. You're going to come up with a plan. It's not always going to be, it's not about Linda Brackett. It's about the people, the citizens. It's about our young families. It's about our senior citizens. It's about everybody in town that deserves to have the best place they can possibly have to live.
What's been your campaign strategy?
My campaign strategy, I think, is quite different. I have been more in the background. I've been talking to private citizens. I've been visiting private citizens. I haven't been around, the department heads. I feel that that's something once if I'm lucky enough to be elected, then I would with each department head, I would sit down. But right now, I'm a little more in the background. I've just been doing a lot of talking to people and a little more low key, and that's normally my style until I get really fired up, and then it's different.
And there's like 2 weeks to go. People have to get out to vote.
2 weeks. Isn't that amazing? It's
Saturday, April 25th. Polls are open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. But if anyone is not going to be available that day, get an absentee ballot.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, if somebody needs a ballot and they don't have time to ask for one, I'll drop it off, or somebody else will drop it off. I mean, I'm here to help to do whatever.
What do you see as the role of a member of the select board? As you mentioned, you're one member of the board.
I think it's to guide the town in a way that the people want. We're all elected to, represent the people. It's not what I want. It's what is in the best interest of the town and what is in the best, interest of all the people. I think we got to work collaboratively with each department, with the town administrator, one of my goals, and I'm not good at this, is remembering names, but one of my goals would be able to walk into any department and call every person by name. I want everybody to feel like they're wanted, they're needed, and they're a great part of, whatever, whether it's the highway department or whether it's the tax collector's office. It doesn't matter. I want everybody to feel valued.
Okay, and you've been visiting places.
I have, yeah, and I visited the senior center, and they have some needs. I would like to focus on those. Everybody in there was extremely nice. They would like a little bit extra help, but again, so wouldn't everybody. But I think everybody's doing the best they can in town with what they have.
Absolutely, absolutely. What are you going to be doing between now and election day? Are you going to continue to try to? You have signs up, obviously.
Yes, my signs. I liked my signs. I thought the color was great. It was something different. I mean, I've always tried to stand out. I'm just going to continue to talk to people. I had a woman sent me a message last night, and her question was, if you could change, and I want to read it exactly, if you could change one thing on day one, what would it be? And
That's a very good question.
It's a great question, and it's a question that I've never heard it asked that way, so I could answer it a little bit differently than I normally would answer that question. And my answer was the schools. But I said, it's nothing I can do alone. It's something that's got to be done collaboratively. Everybody's got to work together, and there's absolutely no magic solution to that. But I mean, that was a great question, and I get questions all the time, and I'll get a phone call or a Facebook message or a text or an email, and sometimes it's like, oh, I got to check every one of these things every minute. But no, I just want to continue to talk to the people, and I want everybody that has ever, has any questions, they have any doubts, they have any concerns, call me. I mean, I can give you my phone number, my email. But no, I'm just going to continue to go out and talk to people and, just be present in the community.
Do you want to give your email address? Because you can certainly do that.
Sure. It's Linda Brackett. So it's LindaBrackett 23@gmail.com. And my cell phone number is 508-801-6480. And I mean, feel free to instant message me, whatever you want to do. And I mean, you can contact me through the campaign page too.
What do you see as the greatest challenges that will be facing you as a member of the Select Board?
Making sure that I look at things fairly and, just being fair, being considerate, talking to everybody like I would want to be treated. I don't think that's a challenge. I think that's something I do pretty well, but I just want everybody to feel included, and I think one of the biggest challenges would be getting people out to vote and going to town meeting.
That is huge, yes, and hopefully we can accomplish that with our candidates' night and our forums and so forth, because it is so important, and we don't get a huge turnout, unfortunately. So every vote always counts,
right.
But every vote can really make a difference.
But it's like when you go to town meeting and you've got
Yes.
100 people there making decisions for a 15,000 person town. We've got to.
And sometimes we don't even get the 100 people to come to the town meeting. So hopefully that is something we can also work on. And we will have that important annual town meeting coming up on May 19th. I think the third Monday
it's
in
always
May.
the third Monday.
It's always the third Monday in May.
I don't know. I mean, I always go by like town hall or the police department and there's a sign.
Yes.
But people will just say, oh, I didn't realize there was a meeting, or I didn't realize that, April 25th was the day to vote. I don't know how else.
And that is difficult. It is difficult to get that word out. I mean, many moons ago, when I was a news reporter for the newspapers used to cover everything, every meeting going on in town. We don't have that now. Cable is a great, media for getting news out, and obviously Facebook, but it is difficult. People are so busy with so many things going on that it's easy to miss those important dates.
It is, and a lot of people aren't on Facebook, and you don't, have the paper boy bring you the newspaper every morning anymore.
Right, right.
So I don't know how to do it,
Mm.
but I'd like to figure out a way.
And maybe people out there can give us some ideas
That-
too about that. Yes.
That would,
Yeah.
that's great. I mean,
Mm.
different people have different backgrounds and different ideas and, different expertise. And that would be, that would almost be like a contest for the town. How do you get people out to vote?
Yes, yes. See if we can break some records. For
I wonder
sure.
if that'd be a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout project.
That's a really good idea. It's a really good idea. I know we had some Girl Scouts in for a tour recently, and they're looking for a project.
And I know there's a Boy Scout from Middleborough that's actually doing a project on all of the candidates, and he's going to have it at Annie's Bookstop.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be there next week. He asked a bunch of questions, and he's going to do a little profile on each of the candidates. But
Interesting.
yeah, so maybe a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout project. Yeah.
We've got a few more minutes here
Okay.
left. Linda, what would you like to tell the voters? Or the residents, because it's actually not too late to register to vote if you haven't already voted. Wednesday, April 15th is the deadline to register to vote.
Okay, so Wednesday, April 15th, come on in and go to our clerk's office. Everybody in the clerk's office is fantastic, and they'll help you. I think I just want to close with saying that, I'm doing this for the town. I'm doing it for a town I moved to 38 years ago that I didn't know if I was going to stay 6 months, and I'm still here. Our services are second to none. Our police, our fire, our highways, everything's great. Everything needs a little bit of work. We got to do some things with the schools, but just any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. And I just hope that a new voice, a new face, somebody that's never done this before, is something that people might think is a good idea.
Thank you for
You're welcome.
joining us today. Our guest, Linda Brackett, candidate for the open seat on the Raynham Select Board. Thank you for joining us as well here on the Inside Scoop.